Alright, welcome back to Elder Scrolls Online. This is us, and guess what? We are rocking a dagger. um, I'm still experimenting with everything, so every few episodes, every now and then I'll switch up to something different, something we haven't tried before. So we have our staff, and I feel I want to try out the dagger and see what it does. I also went back and redid our skills a little. It stayed pretty much the same, except that for... I think it's storm calling here. Instead of the lightning splash, we have hurricane. So what hurricane does is it creates wind, which explodes and deals physical damage and gets bigger and bigger the further out it goes. That's what it does. I want to couple that with this. I'm looking at. We're gonna get into dual wielding. We already know what the bow does. We're gonna get into dual wielding, and I want to couple that ability with blade cloak, which creates a ring of floating razors around you, dealing 488 damage to all nearby enemies every 3 seconds. So we could have devastating AOE attacks. So it's did I reset this? Yeah, when I last broke off, we could not finish this puzzle, but I finally figured it out. This is what we have to do. Let me just make sure our skills are on point. Okay, so we have... Oh, and the other thing that was done with this update, it seems that we lost the ability. You remember how this ultimate gave us a third weapon bar? Well, apparently that's gone now. Alright, so we do have this. We have Daedric Prey. And we have Bound Aegis, increases maximum magicka by 8%. That's going to be useful. So, here we go. Yeah, this took me a number of days to figure out. I sat here trying to figure this out all the way. Okay, and then now all we have to do is line the last one up, just like this. And it's all good. So what happens here is we can get our bow. No, we can actually use our dagger, but we can also get into, should we so desire. Offhand, I can equip another dagger or another shield. But let's just unequip that for now.
Fascinating. I never imagined the control mechanism would fit inside so small a space. It will take me some time to master this device, but with it, I'm sure I can suppress the outer defenses and return the quarry to a relatively safe state.
Yeah, so I can tell the orcs they can reopen the exterior quarry now.
Oh yes, it's perfectly safe to work the quarry again. And please give the orcs my deepest and most sincere apology regarding these unfortunate circumstances.
So you're not coming with me?
I have something I want to try first. Something that will help repay the orcs for my indiscretion.
So what are you planning?
If I can make a few adjustments, I want to offer the constructs to the orcs. I'm sure they'll make excellent workers. I'll join you up above shortly.
Okay. So, we don't have the extra 30% movement speed that we did before. But who knows? I may just respect this once more time. One more time, not once more. Yeah, we don't have the extra movement speed that we had. I just wanted to try out the hurricane and see how it compares to... Just to see how it compares to the... Oh. Investigator Veil, the locked room murder. Oh, the room was indeed locked when the murder occurred, Investigator Vale said, brushing dust from her elegant finery. The scullery said, equally as dusty and looking quite flushed, hurriedly adjusted her apron as she ran out from behind the alchemist's well-stocked shelves. What was going on back here, Investigator? The alchemist Krellin asked suspiciously. Oh, your feisty little maid was just helping me with my research, Vale said. Pay her no mind. What you should be paying attention to is this half-empty bottle of Wamasu bile. Alchemist Krellana shifted nervously, glancing at the burly town guard who was watching their exchange with renewed interest. She swallowed and said, What does my old supply room have to do with the death of Groth the banker? He was locked in his own room when he died. Vale dragged a gloved finger across under the shelves. Yes, the place is rather dusty. You did insist that this particular storage facility hadn't been used in many months, but notice the bottle of Wamasu bile. Most of the dust has been wiped away, and do you know why? Why, the burly guard asked. Vale awarded him with her most dazzling smile. Because, good constable, the banker was already murdered when he locked himself in. He just didn't realize it. Vale turned to the alchemist with a triumphant grin. Admit it, you applied generous amounts of the deadly bile to the banker's quill during this past few weeks. You slowly poisoned the poor man. Damn you, Vale, the alchemist spat, but I won't let you have the satisfaction of watching them cart me off to a dungeon. Krellana poured contents of a vial down her throat before the guard could stop her. Her skin turned the color of ash even before she slumped to the ground. Your death gives me no satisfaction, Krellana, Vale said with regret. Then she perked up. But your scullery maid, on the other hand? Now where did that little vixen run off to? Well, it's pretty obvious, Investigator Vale has an alternative lifestyle. Okay, we love you, little Echeteer. We love you very much. Are you happy with your lot in life? With all the packs and such? At a glance, you seem so calm, so collected. The cheese you provide is delicious and very much respected. Inn and tavern, keep and castle, O little Echeteer, hidden away from the king and country. Life can be unfair. I just woke up, guys. My reading is not really on point. Room for another loaded pack upon your woolly back. Secret knowledge we'll share with what we all lack. Words can't convey how we love you, little Echeteer. Orcs know it's more than the mammoth or the hare. Don't worry, we won't embarrass you any further. Smell the love of one last hug for all your nurture. Strange Returns of the Orsima. This is going to be the last one that I read, then we'll move on. As a devout follower of the good burials and funeral rites, I've dedicated my life to the study of the ceremonies and rituals performed by the various races of Tamriel when it comes to the deaths of their leaders, family members, and loved ones. In this volume, I explore the death rites of the Orsima, otherwise known as the Orcs of Wrothgar. Popular lore would have us believe that an orc's remains lay where they fall. While there is a grain of truth in this concept, orcs know as much about disease and decay as any of the other intelligent races. No one wants a rotting corpse left around to stink up the place, and rotting corpses attract all kinds of insects and predators. So, while the spot where an orc dies is marked and considered almost sacred by his brethren, the body is not left in place for more than a few hours. During this time, friends and family come by to pay their last respects, then the body is removed to where I cannot say. Orcs, for their oral traditions, refuse to provide explanations or specifics to outsiders. I have had to make educated guesses based upon observations and the few conversations I've been able to engage in, but so far, no one will tell me what the orcs do with the bodies of the dead. I discovered an ancient orcish burial site, the mountain known as Sorrow. This snow-covered peak, full of dangerous creatures and deadly weather, served as a depository for the dead. Orcs for several generations, though the practice ended abruptly sometime in the past. Apparently the mountain was reserved for only the bravest and strongest orcs, who were required to climb as high as they could before death finally overtook them. These orcs were left where they fell, but their stones were piled atop their bodies to form protective cairns, or unique constructions called wedge tombs. This also appears to have some connection to the practice of marking any location where an orc dies and falls with a sacred rock. They call the rocks tunmers, which I believe means death stones in orcish tongue. I finally found an old orc female who was willing to share some of their death rituals with me. Specifically, she was willing to discuss the practice of Beshkanor, the Death Forge. Apparently what happens to the bodies of orcs of great stature, leaders, heroes, and revered elders, is that they undergo a process known as the Death Forge. The old orc described the process in confusing terms. I'm not sure if the blood is drained from the body and saved for later use, or if the entire body is burned and reduced to ash, and then the ash is saved. Either way, the remains Either way, the saved remains wind up mixed into molten metal, allowing the revered orc to become one with a powerful tool or weapon, usually a sword, hammer, or shield. So, my quest to completely understand the complex funeral rites practiced by the orcs of Wrothgar continues. I've learned so much, but I realize I haven't really learned anything at all. I know as a general rule, the orcs don't bury their dead, except when they do, such as on the Mountain of Sorrow. I know that they mark the place where the powerful orc died, but they probably don't actually leave the body there to rot and decay. And I learned that some portion of a dead orc is safe to mix with a newly forged tool or weapon in a process known as the Death Forge. I'll continue to probe and investigate, for I find these contradictory practices to be fascinating. I just hope I don't anger the wrong orc and learn about their death rituals firsthand. That wouldn't do at all. Yep. Yeah, there's so many books in here, but we gotta move on now. Speaking of which, let's take here. Let's look here in collections. Let's look at stories. Let's look at DLC. We've done Bloodroot Forge. We need to do Falkreth Hold. So let's go here to Activity Finder, Dungeon Finder, specific dungeon. I'm not doing the veterans yet. Let's do Falkreth Hold. I'm gonna join the queue for that one. Yeah, I did a few of the dungeons. Ooh, opportunity. Ooh. We actually do more damage with a dagger than we would with the staff, because we can swing much faster. Yeah, because we can swing much faster with it than we would with the staff. So we'll keep the sorcery. What? Are we being attacked? I think we're doing pretty well. What the hell? Actually, if we're not careful, this is probably counting towards, this is probably counting as one-handed melee. I wanted to have it count as dual wielding. Oh, I gotta tell you, I'm already missing the lightning ability that gives you 30% faster movement. Okay, let's talk to them.
As soon as our scouts sent word that people were emerging from the quarry, I hurried down to see what was happening. So, where's that damned elf and what did he do?
He found a dwarven ruin under the quarry.
Dwarves? That's the last thing I expected. From the stories I've heard, things involving ancient ruins and dwarves never turn out well.
Yeah, well, the constructs went on a rampage, but Naramo was able to get them under control.
Then the elf survived? Perfect! That means I still get to wring his scrawny neck. Wait a moment. What's that sound? Troll dung, it's the constructs! The damn elf betrayed us! Greetings, my clanmates. Let's show this mad elf what we think of his dwarven army.
Don't be alarmed. I bring a gift. These constructs can work your quarry and build a great city of Orsinium.
Damn you, elf. I should kill you where you stand.
What did I say? Please, my friend, make her see reason.
Okay, we'll intervene quickly here.
He got half my workers killed, and now he insults us as well? The elf's blood price is steep, and he's going to pay it very slowly.
Yeah, hasn't there been enough blood spilled already? He's just trying to help.
Graystone Quarry belongs to Clan Tumnosh. It should be worked by Clan Tumnosh, not those metal monsters. As long as one Tumnosh lives, we'll extract stone from this quarry just the way Malakath intended.
In what way is that?
With orc sweat and orc muscle. We dishonor ourselves and our ancestors if we sat back and let machines do all the work for us. It figures that an elf would come up with such a disgraceful, dastardly plan.
You know what? Take the constructs as your blood price and use them until you regain your strength.
Their worth is...
I'm done with your types. Alright. So what I want to do is, let's get ourselves some of these. Okay, the other thing I want to do is I want to grab a because definitely light attacks are faster than our staff, and we deal more damage over a short period of time than we did with our staff. We're dealing like about 900 damage every second. Let me see. Yeah, we're dealing about 900 damage every second, whereas we were doing like about 1700 every 2 seconds. Okay. So what I want, do I really want to forge? Let's go there first. Okay, the good thing about our build is that our abilities are not bound to specific weapons.
When the city is...
Let's see what you have. Okay, so now that we have that, let's go here to inventory, offhand, and take a second dagger, shall we? Alright, now while we're at that, let's find a blacksmithing station. There's one right here. Okay, with the new updates came the ability to improve items that are already equipped. So first let's refine this rubidite ore. Now, can we improve this? Okay, well, first let's look at creation. We don't have enough, but what traits? I haven't researched any traits with the daggers, so Let's see. Precise. Increases weapon and spell critical values. No, that's great sword actually. Increases healing done. Status effects. Weapon and spell values. Weapon enchantment effects. Probably I'll do infused. I'll probably do infused. Or Nernhorn. Interesting. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's not rush into anything right now. If I'm to improve anything, it's probably going to be my armor. Yeah, we have only one. Let's deconstruct. Yeah, we'll probably have to find a guild trader and buy some daggers. Notes on Orichalcum. Orichalcum is, to my mind, the most fascinating mineral of all Tamriel. I think the orcs' fondness for it makes a great deal of sense. After all, they have a lot in common. Orichalcum is green, exceptionally rigid, stronger than steel, and extremely temperamental, just like most orcs. Most miners, when they discover Orichalcum veins, see them as a welcome sight. Excavation tends to be less onerous given that Orichalcum is often found in brittle shale. The deposits also tend to be free of gang, making ore dressing unnecessary. The real challenges with the mineral can be found in the smelting process. Orichalcum is notoriously difficult to smelt. A consistent low heat must be maintained to prevent the metal from becoming brittle and cracking. Iron is often introduced to act as a binding, but most of the orcish smiths I spoke to dismissed the idea as evidence of laziness or lack of skill. According to the famed smith Guzbog Grugulog, pure Orichalcum is far lighter and stronger than its iron-alloyed alternative. After inspecting both metals, I'm inclined to agree both were remarkably heavy, but the disparity in weight was not insignificant. The orcs' reliance on massive plate armor makes any difference in weight important. Ooh! Okay, our dungeon is ready. Our dungeon is ready. So. Okay, here we go. We're going to Falkreath Hold Dungeon. I'm gonna take a break here, and I'll come back when the dungeon starts.